What's going on, everybody? Busy Gamer Dad back again to show you another 3-part session series gameplay of Across the Obelisk. So here on this channel, what we do with the session game is we make 3 videos about 20-30 minutes long, showing games that are easy to pick up, put down for the busy gamer to just have a session, relax, go do some adulting, come back to them at a later date. And this week on the block for showing you guys is Across the Obelisk. I've played about 40 hours or so into this game, and I've enjoyed it. I've had a really good time. It's your quintessential card game with meta progression mechanics, and it's just a lot of fun because there's a lot of RNG, there's a lot of story arc in here. It's deceptively complex, and it's very easy to pick up, put down, and pick up again and advance your story and not feel like you missed out on too much at all, because the story's not too integral to the overall arch of the game, but it does add a wonderful, we'll say, unique element for this style of game. So if you're invested in the narrative, there's definitely one here, and it's completely random every single time you play the game. So without any further ado, I'll just have the link and the comments, or the description of the game down in the YouTube comments, and then we'll kick our game off here. We're going to do just a typical adventure mode gameplay. We're going to continue, and I think for the start of it, we're going to go out with just our normal party. The one that you start with: Magnus the werewolf, Andrin the scout, and Evelyn the mage, and Reginald the healer. I'm going to leave everything the way it is by default. I do have some perks already allocated out. I'll leave that for you guys to find out and figure out for your own meta progression. But the cool thing about this game is every seed is different. Every seed is random. You can actually change the seed if you wanted to put certain ones in, if you memorize ones that you want to go back to at a later date, or if you just happen to look them up and find them out. There is another unique mechanic in the game where you have corruptor levels, and what these do basically is they give you modifiers for the game and change the gameplay mechanic entirely. I played 1 or 2 games with these, and it changes the game dramatically, and it adds a whole new element of craziness to your gameplay. So be warned when you take these, is all I will say. You take your game in your hands and your frustration in your hands should you choose to endeavor to try and conquer the madness levels. But for now, we're just gonna kick off a game, and we'll see a wonderful little cutscene.
It all started on the princess's 16th birthday, when suddenly a burst of energy erupted from the princess's chamber and swept through the kingdom of Sinenthia. The royal guards explored every corner of the castle, but found no sign of her, or Lord Hanshek, the court magician. The king sent soldiers all over the kingdom, but none of them returned. The trail of the princess was lost deep in the old forest, near the ancient obelisk that had been dormant for centuries. Desperate, the king proclaimed a royal decree, announcing a reward for whoever brought the princess home safely. The news spread quickly throughout the kingdom. Many groups of adventurers prepared to investigate the obelisk. This is the story of one of those groups.
All right. And so this is the overworld for Act 1. This is completely random and unique to every single time you play through. You have several things that I want to draw attention to you. I'll bring up this map legend in the bottom corner, because there's a tutorial mode for this, and I definitely encourage you to play around with that and make sure you understand the game mechanics, because they are deceptively in-depth. Every node that you see here is representative in the symbols that we see down below. You have your combat, your events, your characters, your quest ends, and map transitions and crafters and things like that, and then your region bosses, where you go to fight the end boss of this act. And every single time you play this will be random, in the sense that these events will be tiered in rarity, whether they're blue or green, blue, or purple for, uncommon, common, or epic. And then you have also these exclamation points right here for unlocking characters and progressing meta knowledge on the game. And each of the characters, spoiler alert, actually are intertwined in some way, shape, or form, but you got to figure that out on your own. I'm not going to spoil it too much for you, but I will say that you should read the story. It's actually quite compelling, and there's a lot of subtle nuances that I have found through my gameplay with it. And then you have these map transitions, which take you to dungeons or special off the beaten path type of scenarios here. I'm actually going to target this one first. I'm going to leave myself as the default when I log in. But one of the cool things about this game is you can have up to 3 chests from your previous runs stacked. So if you feel like you're just really going to swing for the fences on one run and you want to make it the best run that you can possibly make it, you can actually take gold and crystals from your previous run and apply them to that current run. So what I'm going to do right now is when I say I leave it to the default, I'm actually going to do a little bit of deck modification, because how this game functions is it's a card game. Each character draws from a deck and they discard the cards. They have action points and the various other mechanics thereof. Then you have, buffs and debuffs that you're managing for your team. In your group, you have the quintessential, tank, which is our Magnus. Then you have Scout, which is our melee and physical DPSer, which is our, Andrin. And then we have Evelyn, who is our wizard or spellcaster. And they do lightning, fire, and frost magic, but they also can unlock curse magic as well. And they lead into Reginald. Reginald is your healer or your holy damage dealer, should you want to do that. And he's kind of also a pseudo buffer in some ways, depending on what cards you put them into. Now, these 4 characters are specific to that role. When you unlock those other characters that we saw in the overworld, they play entirely different into how they fit into the healer meta, the wizard meta, the scout meta, or the tank meta. They're entirely different, and that's why it's almost really incentivizing for the player to unlock and seek out those new characters to play. So I'm going to do a jump cut here. I'm going to do some deck editing to make sure that I have a pretty good deck going for what I feel I can manage and what's comfortable for me. But I totally encourage you to experiment and explore and have fun with it. All right, so I'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, so I figure while this is speeding in the background, I'd give you guys your dad joke for this episode. 2 humpback whales go into a doctor's office. They don't know each other, they're just sitting next to each other. One humpback whale looks over at the other and says, "Hey, what are you here for? Just making idle chit-chat and small talk." That second humpback whale looks to the first and goes, and the first humpback whale says, "Oh wow, you definitely need to be here." So that's the dad joke. I hope you find it amusing. You can make that go on forever, and I did that to my kids, and they begged me to stop making whale noises. So fully enjoy it to its maximum potential of annoyance and dad joke humor. I really think that it's a perfect joke for long car rides, or just to get your kids out of bed, or just to put it on repeat and ask them, "Hey, what did the other humpback whale say to the first humpback whale at the doctor's office?" And just bring it back. Just keep on bringing it back. I really enjoy that joke in particular. I don't know why. It's my perfect joke just to annoy my kids and work through any lulls in the conversation when we're at dinner or out and about. And it's also really funny to do in the toy store or in the park or something like that, and do it as loud as you possibly can. So again, it's just a perfect brand of dad joke humor for you guys to enjoy while we're doing this little speed through. Okay, welcome back everybody. So I did a little bit of deck modifications. I didn't pull in the previous rewards or anything like that to make myself super powerful, because I want to show you guys this run kind of more vanilla, or more as you might see it. I only added a few cards to their deck. I didn't actually remove any of their cards, so I'll save that for later. So we're going to jump into the map now, and I think I'm going to try and go to the map transition up here and see what's what, and see if we can actually get get this going. One of the things that you'll notice is as you look and mouse over these things, you'll see that they're actually the common and uncommon events. You want to make sure that you're looking for those. Another mechanic that I hope I can show you this playthrough is the items that you pick up. The items that you pick up along the way for these games, or your game, will also dictate the path you go on, simply because it allows you to get a lot more rewards and work a lot more things in your favor. So again, this is your kind of quintessential, your us versus them kind of thing. Up at top is our turn order, and there's actually a performance indicator, and we get bonuses depending on how fast we dispatch our enemies and how well we perform. You'll also notice that I have a little bunny pet. There's a pet mechanic in the game, and there's something that's the meta progression to unlock those in a playthrough. And I encourage you to look for those, because those really offset certain deficiencies in certain classes or certain characters that you might have. But for now, we're going to jump into the game proper. We have our turn economy down here. We have 5 energy, 2 energy, 2 energy. The yellow energy sticks around. The green energy is what we'll get the next round. We max out at 10. In the top left-hand corner of our cards, we have the amount of energy it's going to take. It gives us a great tooltip on what the card does and what to expect from it. And also, it tells us, front monster, it tells us over the monster's head what it's actually going to do to them, because the monsters also have their inherent strengths and weaknesses that you see in the top left-hand corner. Now, you have your burn cards, which are your vanish cards. You, again, wonderfully tool-tipped. As you play this game, you'll start seeing the cards in its visual recognition as you start playing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to armor up, and I'm going to get, I'll get this, and then we'll see what we can do here. We're not going to have enough, he's not going to have enough energy for everything, and I would much rather him do shielding than damage. You'll notice that this game has a way of wearing you down as you progress into your run across your acts, your various acts. So make sure that you are playing for the long game. Don't play the short game and just blow your wad trying to dispatch everything and getting the best you can out of it. It's not going to work well, because there's going to be a lot of fights that you simply cannot win that fast. So play for the long game. That's the voice of experience. Let's get some shields on everybody, and I know, I might as well do this. And then, so they also do a really good job, and they tell you when a character or monster is going to die on their turn. And you can see that, they have the various debuffs and buffs underneath here listed out very well. Again, very well tooltip, lends itself very easily to a session game where you can play, pick it up again at a later date, and then, put it back on a shelf, play again, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's great for that. Let's see here, do that. Energy, give me 2 more energy, cap myself out. You can also put yourself out in a sense of like, making sure that you buff other players too, and there is that synergy between our caster here, Evelyn, and Reginald. So she turns into a bit of a mana battery, and then he turns into just this nuking guy. So we'll actually lean into that mechanic, and you'll see that here. I'm going to cast Fireball, and then I'm going to cast Frost, and then I'm going to call that turn good here. All right, let's see here. We don't really need this, but I'll do it anyways, so you guys can see the foresight. It allows you to see what they're gonna do. We have equal to our hand size, so I shouldn't have done that. Let's see, but nobody's really hurt, so I guess it doesn't matter too terribly much. All right, so if I do that to you, and then deal 13 to you, and deal another, well, I think we win on this turn no matter what we do. Yeah, I think we'll win on this turn. Yep. And then automatically targets the last one. And then at the end of combat, you get 3 cards to pick from, or you can choose shards to take with you. It doesn't look, and you do not feel pressured to take any of these cards if they don't lean into what you've already built. Don't chase. That's my advice to you. If you want to get a card to use in a later deck or a later playthrough, don't worry. You've unlocked it. You can get it at the town the next playthrough. You don't have to feel like you have these scrambles to get these very unique cards and force a play style. You can get them in your next run. I think what I'm going to do though and deck bloat is a very big thing. All my Magic the Gathering fans out there or players will understand deck bloat. Don't try and make these card decks more than, I would say, 25 or 30. And that's just my strong advice to you. I think the minimum you have to have is 15, and any more than 25 and you're really kind of hurting yourself, because you're always going to be on a draw for looking for specific things that may not come up. Now, I don't like any of those cards. I do like the speed. I don't like any of these. I mean, we could lean into being a holy, or having these two synergize with each other. We can try it and let's see what happens. But you suffer 5 damage from, yeah, it's hard to say and imply. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, there's not really anything that's really kind of working here, so I'll just take all the... And that's the way it goes sometimes, unfortunately. You just don't get all the cards. So now, here we go. Here's our first event. Honest work. In the northern part of Sinenthia farmlands, you find a small group of farmers working on rebuilding a house. When you approach, they ask if you can help them a little with the rebuilding work. You can clearly see that they won't be able to pay much or offer anything. Do you want to still help? So this is it. You can play the benevolent role where you will just offer your help. You can extort them for money and then try and get it. And then if you mouse over this here, it gives you actually a percentage on what you might be able to eke out of them and change the role. I'm just going to offer them to help. You help them rebuild the house, and after a while you decide it's time to leave. They thank you and tell you that you can keep the rope used to work, but unfortunately they don't have any money to give you. So up here in the top is our saddle bag or bag to contain our various items that will help us along our path. And you don't know where they're going to help unless you have that meta knowledge and play the game several times. I'm going to go down here. Oh, I was hoping I could show you guys this. So this is the Obelisk Corruption. This is a random happenstance that is a challenge that you don't have to take unless you really want to. And what it does is it offers really good and unique rewards, but sometimes it's not worth it, period. It's just meant to bleed you dry and fail your game prematurely. You have 2 choices, 3 essentially to pick from. You have the party will gain access to an exotic shop with a 30% discount, increase the quality and quantity of card renewed at the end of combat. That's a really good one. Or we can choose to continue without taking either of these challenges and just fight them normal. Now, you always should look at your situation. How's your health doing? Where, you can go to the shop, but do you have money to go to the shop? You can look at the cards, but are they really going to work with your deck? Are you already too full on your cards to pick from? And then also the extreme. Is it really something you want to go after? Because extreme means extreme. It's very challenging, and you could walk away very, very worse off than when you went in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just click continue. I'm not going to try this one because it's extreme. If it were maybe normal or easy, obviously, I might do it. But in the interest of saving some face, I don't think I will do that this time around. You are not going to be able to pay for those. So I think I'll just leave those and we'll call it good there. And then also you want to, when you're in the fight, you want to make sure you're looking at the tooltips, because some monsters or enemies will not be affected by certain effects. Some monsters won't bleed, like there's golems, stone golems in this game that just don't bleed, so the bleed effect would not really help. So you should lean into your ranged attacks should you want to do that. Likewise, there's ice demons and fire demons. Again, their attributes are going to lend them to be weak against something and strong against something else. I think you might know that just offhand, but I'm just letting you know. My focus right now, I think, is I'm going to target the one that's burned or roasted corny, as it were, and we'll fight him just a little bit, get him a little bit weaker. Wow, you drew nothing but your sword swings, and that's okay. That's fine. So that's free. I might as well use that. Let's do... Oh, hey, that's nice. A little bit more. Yeah, that worked out really well. And then, so something that you want to make sure you're reading or paying attention to is your armor. Okay, the one big shield right here in gold lettering or gold numbers is the armor that you currently have. This smaller shield back here is the armor that will be applied the next round you start. So you can forego applying a lot of current armor in some cards and then go for the next turn armor. Say you just know that they're not going to do anything too terribly vicious to you, so you just take the hits, and then the next round you have armor stacked up, so you're already good to go. Also, likewise, there's a buff that works in tandem with these two buffs here called Fortify. Block does not fall off at the end of round, so you don't lose the 39 armor that you had built up, and instead you get a +8 armor for what was already loaded into your next round's armor, and we'll have that for 2 turns. So that's really where you want to make sure you're paying attention to how the interplay on the cards work, and also how the inter-characters play on, you know, working with each other or sometimes against to win the fight. So I'm just going to progress through the fight as quickly as I can because I want to make sure that we're showing off as much of this game as possible. Yeah, I'm going to give Reginald 2 energy, and then I'm going to use this guy right there. And this is some really good information for you to have right here. You want to focus on one strength for your characters. You don't want to try and diversify. You should stick to one class or one role or one school of magic, however you want to phrase it. You want to make sure that you're not going too hard to try and figure out or find where you want to go too late in the game. Otherwise, you will not succeed. Just period. Unfortunately, you won't. All right, let's destroy those 2 guys and do that. And then, yeah, well, since he has the Fortify, might as well lead into the mechanic there. Nobody's hurt. We'll move to the next round. All right, looks like they're just healing each other. Interesting, but that's fine. We'll do a card draw. Okay. Well, if I did 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I'll do 13, 13, 13, so 26, 39, and if I did 1 and 2, that's 29, so these 3 are still the better way of going. Math, it's your friend. All right, and then let's see here. They're not too threatening, and we have Fortify, so we're gonna end up keeping a lot of our armor from this round. Not that we need 118 armor for these guys, but still, it's important to understand that that's not going to fall off. And then we'll buff you, and we will dispatch you like so, because if you look, this is the meta knowledge as you come into the game. The charged battery, the reason why I didn't target this one is because he's already going to be perished or killed because of the shock that does lightning damage on the left and right side of a monster who has this current spark debuff, as it were. So he's going to be killing his friend here, essentially, and when the round starts for him. See? Gone. Nice, nice, nice. And then we will just lean in and dispatch our bad farmer friend here. Might as well heal. Sure. Not that that's gonna do anything great and wondrous. We'll just get those out of our deck. Right there. Into our discard pile. Apply the Hunter's Mark, which is prevents stealth and does 3 damage. And then we'll do another draw, and we'll just finish him off here, which is great. And then again, because that was combat, we get to pick some cards. Oh, an intercept is really, really strong. Sure, let's pick that up. Nothing here. I mean, this is free, but I don't want to clog our deck up right now. Yeah, I don't want to take that. I'm not looking for this kind of stuff here. 2 of the same card, just one's better than the other. Why is this one better? Oh, because it's not a burn. I see. Okay. Equal to your hand size? Yeah, sure. We'll take that one. All right, then we'll go to the next one, the transition. The hatch. You come across a house in ruins, and inside you see a large hatch. You try to open the hatch, but it is properly closed. A few seconds later, a voice speaks to you through the hatch. Only those touched by flames. Then the voice remains silent, as if waiting for a passphrase. Let's see here. Enter, jump down. What's our success rate? Well, that's for everybody. And then open the hatch. Try to open the hatch. Safer way. Try jumping down, break through it. I think try to open the hatch in a safer way than jumping in. I thought if we had the rope, we could jump down. But this seems to overall be the better successful way. So let's do that. Let's see if we do it. Oh, someone suffered. Oh, so Andrin. So this is, again, that wonderful mechanic of the game where this is RNG. It just happens. Andrin had the lowest chance of succeeding. Our Scout had the lowest chance of succeeding from a jump, which is weird. But okay, in we go. And then we're going in the hatch. And now this is its own weird... Oh, there's a row. So this is... Okay, this is good right here. So let's see what we can do here. Silly gatekeepers. You are inside the hatch and you can see what at first glance seems to be a normal basement. But at the end of the room, you can see a door with 3 pigmen keeping watch. They are new to this place and don't seem very excited about having to stand guard. In fact, one of them is lying down and almost asleep. The other 2 don't seem to be very smart either, but they could raise the alarm depending on how you approach. What do you want to do? So because we have the rope, this in our toolkit, essentially, we can do this. Make a noise to distract the other 2 and use the rope to tie up one. So that means that we would actually be able to have one less combatant, and we'll do that. You tie up the half-asleep pigman and move him aside while the other 2 are distracted. When they return to the door, it's too late and you are already ready for them. So instead of fighting 3 pigmen, we only fight 2. And that's the narrative of the game that you should pay attention to. You should always be reading and looking and understanding what's going on and how things might play out in the confines of the game. So I'm going to armor up and draw hard, and then I'll go a little bit faster, might as well. And then I'll have Magnus probably just discard these 2 and see what else he can... You know what? Discard all 3. We're not going to be able to finish this in one round anyways. So, let's see here. Initiate and a neophyte. Let's go for the initiate first. A little bit slightly lower health. We'll just dispatch him pretty quick, or get him pretty low at least. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for the barricade. So let's do that so everybody has armor. And then we'll howl to make them go a little slower. I think I'll just have Magnus armor twice. Well, yeah, let's have him armor 3 times, and then we'll apply this one on Reginald. Okay, we'll mana battery up Reginald. We'll drop the lightning on the initiated, and then we'll keep firing on you. There. Nice, awesome. Good stuff. Okay, depending on equal to our hand size, we want to use this sooner rather than later. So we'll do that. There, and it doesn't look like we'll be able to finish things off, so we'll just yeah, we'll just end it right here. What are you gonna do? Random here, so I'm glad I just did that. Oh wait, if I do this, that will help out because it prevents 1 burn charge. So that's one of the things that you should, and that's what the flame is, burn. So we should definitely do that. Nice, that worked out really well. Alright, and then we'll armor up, draw a card, and then you're just dispatched this turn. We are the winners! We're the big wieners. Alright. So you're an upgrade, and you're an upgrade, but not really that good of an upgrade. I do want to lean into this, though. Now, no, I'm not really feeling the speed spell. And then, yeah, these aren't really leaning into. There are certain builds where you can, you know, cause yourself damage for your tanks or Magnus specifically, and then just decimate the enemies. I haven't gotten that to work for myself yet, but yeah, it's just very interesting. Captured, you tied the captured pigman. Which way do we want to go? Let's go to the imp altar. Let's go this way. And then, no, I don't really want to go to this one because I have a feeling it's going to be pretty harsh. All right, so I'm actually going to say, I'm actually going to stop the video right here. And then when I pick up again, we'll actually be here going for through this basement and having a grand old time dungeon plunging. This is Across the Obelisk. This was also Busy Gamer Dad showing you this game for our session gameplay series. I'll come back with another video continuing this run just so you guys can see what happens. I'll have the link in the game description down in the YouTube comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that other stuff. If you played this game, if you have any tips or anything like that. I really love this game. It's got a great narrative, and hopefully you pick it up or just wishlist it for a later date when you feel you can jump into it. So until that day, I hope you have some good luck. I hope you have some fun, and we'll catch you in the next one.